Welcome to another episode of Classics of Cinematics. And on this episode, we've got the big boss of 1971. When the new man shows his combat skills during a fight in the factory, the managers make him a foreman, promising him a meeting with the big boss. But when he discovers the factory's covert criminal operations, he takes the law into his own hands. Join Monk and Bobby as they take a look at the film to introduce Bruce Lee to the world. Hey folks, man, this is Monk, and I'm back again with another episode of Classics of Cinematics, and I'm joined as always with the incomparable, indomitable co-host Bobby Blockbuster.
Yo, yo, yo!
Yeah, folks, man, and we're going to have a kicking time of it today, because we're going to be talking about 1971's The Big Boss, and this is Bruce Lee's first major film debut, man, and this is a pretty cool little film, man. You know what I'm saying? So what's the first thing that comes to mind to you about this film?
Well, I mean, first and foremost, we have to clear up the confusion. So this film is called The Big Boss, but when you look at it on a lot of streaming platforms or try to find it, it is it's labeled as Fists of Fury. Okay, and so what ended up happening is that when this film first got prepared for American distribution, they wanted to change the name from The Big Boss to The Chinese Connection as a play off of The French Connection that came out a year prior due to the drug trafficking element in both the films, right? And then Bruce Lee's second film, Fist of Fury, was supposed to come to the Americas labeled as Fists, plural, of Fury. But, you know, whoever was in charge of putting the proper movies in the proper crates did a switcheroo. So Fists of Fury ended up getting placed in the Chinese Connection boxes. Wow. And the Big Boss got put in Fists of Fury box. It comes to the Americas that way. And it took them almost 30 years to right the wrong.
That's interesting because the Fist of Fury, the proper name version, is the one where Bruce Lee is avenging the death of his master, and there's that infamous dojo scene where he goes into the dojo and kicks everyone's ass. Yes. So interestingly enough, just to show you the name stuff, Jet Li kind of did a remake of this film like more, I think the 90s, mid-90s or something like that, called Fist of Legend. So that's more of an indicator as well as what that film should have been properly labeled. So The Big Boss is the correct title for this film. Yes. And in this film, man, story-wise, we get our Bruce Lee's playing a character named Chang. He moves to Thailand to work with his family temporarily. It's kind of a place for him to get a second chance. So apparently he was getting in trouble in the streets, doing a lot of fighting. And I thought it's funny because as soon as we meet him, oh, yeah, you pledged not to fight. Like, even the relative mentions it.
Bro, his uncle tells him that. That's how you know you the man with them hands. If you got to make a promise that you ain't going to fight once you arrive to where you going. And then he even has to wear a necklace to, like, secure the vow. And we find out later on that the necklace was a jade amulet that his mom gave him. So she kind of, like, was like, you make this promise to me, son. Wear this necklace. Don't kick nobody ass in Thailand.
Or maybe he was just a young man getting in trouble as a young guy. Like I'm imagining like some back in the day. What's that? The Defiant Ones kind of where you just street fighting, or the Outsiders. You know, maybe he was getting in that kind of trouble.
Bruce Lee was a little too good with the hands to just be your average everyday street fighter.
Yeah, but I'd imagine that's still probably what he was doing. He's nice, but he was still like honestly, that kind of parallels his real life in a way because. As you know, the history of him, you know, he learned Kung Fu in Hong Kong and he was getting in trouble in the streets, you know, using some of his martial arts in street fights. And I think his parents actually sent him to America to further his education, you know, at a certain point in time, whatever. Yeah, that's the gist of it. He's here to hang out with the family and he's going to work at the ice factory to kind of get him some ground, get some money saved up, and then just figure out what he wants to do in life. But it's called The Big Boss because the owner and operator of this ice factory he's the big boss and he's basically running this it's kind of an oppressive environment. Yeah, it's giving them employment, but he's got his foot on their neck. He's got his foot on this whole town pretty much. Everyone who's making any decent living is working for him, but also he has another corruptive element where he's also running dope out of the same ice factory. And it's interesting, man. Like there are things in this film that I think are really dope that I didn't pick up on as a kid. It's a martial arts action film, but I think it has a little bit more higher aspirations than that because it is speaking on things that are going on now. Where you got instead of this big boss, now we've got these big corporations, and they're kind of doing the same thing to us these days,
yes.
Like trying to pay us a little. Trying to get as much work out of us as possible.
Low wage, oppressive work environment,
dangerous working environment,
and then also like constant dehumanization, belittlement, and kind of like that, like you said, that foot on your throat.
And they might be moving dope out the back.
Might be. For all we know. Hey man, it's coming from somewhere, bro.
So that was really great. Like this story addressed that, and seeing it play out in the film. What I really love the most is the fact that they were fighting the whole time. Yes. And I mean, really fighting. Yeah. Like if there's a labor dispute, we go into the hands, and they're not nice with it. So yeah, people are getting hurt, but it's not lethal. You'll get up the next day, and you come back to work the next day. Still, I watching this movie. I wish we could fight our bosses like this.
Yeah,
nobody get hurt, but at the end of the day, I hold my ground, and we make a little bit of progress.
And the thing is up until this point, I love the way that the story is delivered and how it builds, because you can tell by the flow of things that we are in line for a very climactic third phase, but also you can tell that there was a changing of the guard in a sense, because see, the thing of it is that James Tien, who actually played Su Chen, he was originally casted to be lead role. Yeah. And then there was a directorial switch about maybe like 3-4 weeks into production, and then that's when my man, what was his name, Lo Wee takes over, switches over the billing, makes Bruce Lee lead character, and Su Chen ultimately gets X'd out of the movie.
I wonder if that made this film longer, because it is pushing close to 2 hours, and I don't think it needed to be.
No,
because some of this stuff could have been truncated. Yeah, like we're kind of getting a point. There's a bunch of the like a redundancy of the family scenes sometimes.
When you watch it, like I said, the first about 40 minutes or so, Su Chen, he is front and center. Yeah. He is the good guy. He's fighting the powers that be. He's bucking the system. He's standing up for the weak. He's doing all these things. And Bruce Lee is he's just standing in the cut rubbing his necklace, reminding himself of his promise. Yeah. And then 46 minutes in, that's when we first see Bruce Lee finally start to throw his hands, because some goon didn't know how to take a punch. He falls into Bruce Lee, breaks the necklace. It's almost like in Trilogy of Terror when the chain falls off.
Because this is a big fight that happens because they're still wondering about their missing cousins. The management isn't giving them satisfactory answers, so they kind of effectively go on strike. Like, until you tell us something, we're not working.
Well, because at this point, the two cousins went missing. Su Chen and another cousin take it upon themselves. They're like, yo, we're going to see the manager. They go to the manager. They don't get no results. So they're like, no, we're going to the big boss. And they go to the big boss, and he's telling them the same old bullshit. Yeah. He's like, yeah, man, we went to the cops, woo, woo, woo. And then he kind of like, he insinuates, he was like, man, quit meddling, mind your business, or, same thing might happen to you. You might go missing. So Su Chen is like, what? Now I think you killed him. I'm going to the cops. So, of course, when they walk out the big mansion, they are met by a lawn full of goons ready to fight them.
It's done.
You can't get out of that. One dude gets axed in the back and Su Chen gets killed. So now the two cousins and Su Chen are missing. The workers are now like, okay, it's one thing when the two cousins were missing, but now our leader is missing as well. And, the big fight happens. And then ultimately, Bruce Lee starts flexing. All the workers are like, oh, this dude actually got them things. And they make Bruce Lee the foreman.
But that goes to the point of, like I said, this thing has such parallels with what's going on today. It's typical union busting. As oppressed as they were, they had power, like by being united and organized. So this is the leader's attempt to disrupt them and break them up by promoting Chen to leadership. And at first, everyone's happy. It's like, oh, we have a representative amongst the top.
He's gonna work with us. Yes.
Like we got one of our guys on the inside. But then you see it's bullshit, because as soon as they bring him in, they throw him alcohol and women, they're satisfying him. So they're making him ineffective, even though he is, a manager, but he don't have no power really. Dude, and he goes through the process. He asks the management about the missing family members, and they give him the runaround too. So it's bullshit. But then it causes the his family and the cousins and all the other workers to start to resent him, because And that's what they did. That's why they promoted him by design to disrupt these guys.
Yes,
you know?
And you know what? I'm glad you brought up how they showered him with on his first day. He is trying to do the right thing, trying to see what happened.
He's drinking Hennessy, I want to point out.
Yes, I was just about to say, dude, did you see that 1972 bottle of Hennessy? That was the coolest bottle, man. I never saw a bottle of Henny that looked like that. Had the cream label. It looked all cool. And he's drinking it like it's water.
It's a funny scene because you could tell he's never drank really this kind of shit before.
And the chick's like rooting him on. She was like, whoa.
She pours him like two fingers.
You take drinks like water.
He's just like, whoosh. And he's like,
next thing you know, dude, she's saucing him up, right? And next thing you know, my man's up there putting on a board-breaking show.
Oh, I love that. He's like drunk. Yeah. I love that. He looks so effectively drunk, and he's chopping. And then he's like playing Ring Around the Rosie, chasing after one of the chicks. Shout out to the homie Steve, man. We should have this man chopping tobacco sticks. Man.
Oh man,
he's lit. Damn,
oh man,
crazy,
yeah, but it's good because then you know.
Yo, but I actually just did Shorty? Did him and the Shorty sleep together, or did she just lay down next to him? Because he was wasted. He was peeled back.
But she was
unconscious.
She was effectively trying to wake him up.
But did he wake up though?
I don't know.
Think he woke up. I think it's kind of she wanted to, but I don't think
because the man was out, bro. The next time she met or she saw him, she was like, "I'm glad you came back." And then the first thing she did, try to take him to the room and double back. So
I don't think she hit the first time. He probably thought he did because he don't have no memory.
I mean, he woke up, she was butt ass naked.
Yeah, but she got naked before. She hopped in the bed. Remember, she took the top off and everything. And it's
but then again, he could have woke up in the middle of the night and was like, "Hey."
But who knows? Just to wrap this story up, I don't want to spend too much time on it. Ultimately, the corruption gets worse, man.
It does.
More people are killed, and including another one of Chen's cousin, and he goes back into the factory one night, just looking around, looking for answers. And he finds evidence, he finds bodies.
In one block of ice, he finds the dope. In another block, he finds the hand of one of the cousins, and then in the other one, he finds Sue Chen's whole entire head. Yeah. So, by this point, like you said,
and then they jump him.
And this is where the big boss's son is leading the charge on this one, and Bruce just takes out all of them. Dude.
It's a great scene, and then the messed up part about this, once he's done with that, he goes home and realizes they've killed the rest. They killed his cousin. They killed everyone,
and they kidnapped the one female cousin. So, and that's the thing too. Not only is the big boss like this, bad, drug runner, evil person, but he's also kidnapping women, keeping them against his will. So he's kind of running
that's his thing
sex
too, man.
trafficking.
There's that scene with the son. It's like, yo, I need $2,000, and he's like, for what? And he's kind of, it's like the kid coming to you asking for money. And then the kid is like, "Hey man, I got some hoes on the way, man. I know you like them young things."
He was like, "I got this young thing." She's like a fresh, untapped dub.
Because my man about 65, 70, and you notice he's all surrounded by these 18 or 20-year-old.
Yes, and he gets all Mr. Burns. He's like, "Ugh, yeah, I like young women." It's like, dude, what the fuck? And then it's like,
he's a great bad guy, dog. I love to hate him, yo. He's a dick.
Yes, and then after Bruce Lee puts in work with the crew and the son, he has a reflective moment at the river.
I kind of like that moment in a way. I love it. It's weird, but it's also
this is when
what makes it unique.
He's balls to the wall. He said, "Look, man, I'm avenging everybody.
It's a unique film, dude.
I'm avenging everybody. I don't know if I'm gonna come back or not. I don't even give a damn."
I'm gonna pause for a second. The one aspect about this film that I loved is you can't make this film being made like it is now. Even the beginning, the way it explains off top the violence, and even that we don't get that in action movies that we got today. It's like we're too good to even sit through that as audiences these days. This thing has a kind of a fantasy innocence to its approach to the storytelling in some aspects of it, even though it is hard. We see a man, that chainsaw scene or the ice saw. I was like, yo. But then at the same time, it has those innocent kind of quiet moments like him reflecting at the waterfall about to go murder everybody.
Yes.
He was but what I do?
What I like about it, what I really like about it is that it's descriptive enough to keep us in tune with what's going on without overtelling. You know what I'm saying? Like it tells us enough so that we're all on the same page, but then the rest is on acting and execution. Yeah. You know what I mean? Whereas we like you said, in modern day action film, we either get one or the other. Either it's overacting or over storytelling, but it's not an even flow of both, where this just kind of has it. And, you know, that leads us to after the reflective moment at the river, which is really serene. Like you said, it's serene. It's calming. It's like the calm before the storm.
We're in his head, you know, because even it's like a voiceover, you know, and he's just looking out and we're hearing his subconscious thoughts, man.
And you also, you can tell that he's actually at peace with the results, knowing they're not going to be good.
Like, whatever happens, I'm going to at least do this for my people.
Hey, even if I get taken out, they going with me kind of thing. And then, dude, he ends up running up the road and he ends up at the mansion. I love this shit. It's the coolest part of this movie. Like I said earlier, we are in line for a very climactic third phase, and we get it.
You know what I like though too? We got all the goons there, but the boss himself is head goon. Like imagine if Steve Jobs had to go to battle. Like the workers was mad at him, and he was the final boss.
And he's just and he stands there like his demeanor is like just so he's so bossed up. Like he feels untouchable, and like, you know, he's just standing there with this smug ass look on his face, holding his little parrot cage and shit. He's sending the goons at Bruce
because Chain he's got to go through the goons first. And all right, flashback to the previous fight before this. It's lethal. When he finds the bodies, it's on, like lethal. Yeah. And then to this, it's lethal. It's not. We're not playing around. He's throwing knives at like these. But motherfuckers is getting killed. Like he's playing for keeps, dude.
What I like is that
they are too, but still,
the boss is has a level of arrogance and he's unrelenting with it. But so is Bruce. Yeah. Bruce shows up. He's eating a bag of chips. He's like, whatever. I'm gonna flex everybody. And then like after he makes light work of the goons, like the boss just like so effortlessly tosses the bird cage into a tree and it lands perfectly.
I love that too because
then Bruce turns around. He's like, oh, fuck your bird. And then he hits the cage with a knife.
Yeah. Like, let the bird loose. Like it's like I'm disrespecting your wealth and your opulence. Yes. And, you know, it's crazy.
And then I mean, as we get to the fight, you know, it's definitely well worth the wait. We get everything that we are expecting and that we're looking for with this story arc, with how it's playing out. The one thing that I don't like, only thing that I don't like is it comes to a screeching halt at the end.
I love that though.
You know, and I'm just kind of like, well, I want to know, like, well, what happened?
Nah, that's what you get from this era of like I would say also another film that does this is 36 Chambers. It's when you're in the thick of the final confrontation, and all of a sudden when he headbutts that dude in the air, and it's like, yeah, and then it's done. Then next thing you know, the credits are rolling, and this thing kind of does the same thing, but this one kind of it lingers a little bit longer because that fight between him and that last guy is amazing. I love that shit. And you know what's funny, because I read that the director was butting heads with Bruce about the use of trampolines. And
they were jumping all over the place.
And I love that though. Like even earlier when Bruce first goes to the boss's house to talk to him, and the German Shepherds, the
dogs,
and Bruce is like,
dude, he's dodging them, he's jumping over them, flipping around them. That's so cool.
And you see another scene later where the big boss is hanging out with his son, showing them techniques, and he just bounces through. And that's a trampoline. Yeah. But I thought it looks cool because it gives these guys a more superhuman level in their abilities, and I think it enhances. So I'm glad that the director didn't listen to Bruce here and put that in there.
It makes karate kung fu look more majestic.
Yeah, so it makes that scene great. But then it's bloody. Like it's surprisingly a R-rated film. Like nothing else in this film is R-rated except when that later half with the violence and maybe him and Shorty laying in the bed. Yeah. But for the most part, like there's no profanity. It will be PG,
and it's not gratuitous violence. Even the fights are they're tasteful.
It would not be PG if not for it would be PG if not for those scenes like when they kill the cousins and you know later on, like even here when he fights a boss, my favorite part is when he hits my man with the fingertips and he's like in the ribs, and my man is just like
the boss throws the knife at him and Bruce kicks the knife back, hits him in the chest, and then he's like and then he hit him with the dim lock.
And it's like his hands are going between his ribs and there's blood coming out. And then my man lays on the ground and Bruce is like, boom. And by then his cousin his free cousin has ran and got the police. So then the police come and they just grab him. And I think the ending is perfect because it's like he probably going to get jailed for life if not executed for killing the boss, even though he was just. But it reminds me of one of my other favorite endings in the Chinese Connection. Yeah. Which is
AKA Fist of Fury.
Yeah. So in that film, I love that film because it's a kind of a film kind of speaking on the beef with China and Japan. Mm-hmm. And in this film, the Japanese have invaded of China and they're shitting on them. They're treating them like shit. The dog man of China, that kind of shit. And at the very end, Bruce is in the building and he knows the police are out there. That there's like a whole army regiment with rifles, and at the very end, you just see my man Bruce run out the building, and he jumps in the air like and then the picture freezes, and you just hear all the rifles go off of them shooting at him, and it reminds me of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Dude. Okay, it's the same ending. You seen that before?
No.
Oh my God, classic! We're gonna do that one day. Okay. You gotta watch. That's gonna be good first time.
Well, after Unforgiven, dude, I'm willing to watch any Western.
But that movie is great. but I don't know which one of these came first. I don't know if they stole that ending on Fist of Fury from that film or
vice versa.
I feel like it's probably them still in the Sundance Kid.
But this movie is really. I love it on many levels, but man, is it not held together by this dope ass soundtrack?
I love that score, bro.
The score. I love it. I mean, you get so much stuff. Like there are times when it feels like it's like crime noir. There's other times where it feels like a superhero joint. And then there's just other times where it's just dope. That
because it's so cool. It's almost the same. Excuse me. It's almost the same theme song, but they're experimenting with it depending on what the mood requires. Like there's elements of it. Shout out to Dilated Peoples. They have a song called The Platform, or an album called The Platform, but the song is called Work the Angles. The album is called The Platform, and they sampled the hell out of the score. And it's funny because there was a moment where I realized, because I think I saw this first, or I had heard that song for years, and then I'm seeing this and I'm like, yo, hold up. Like, that seems like, and then you really listen to the score, like that whole beat is made up off of elements of the song. And that's crazy, man. That's a great moment.
It's wild too, because this guy, Hu Ling Wang, he's credited for doing the score on all of the various versions of this film, be it the original Mandarin version or the American version or the Cantonese version, so on and so forth. He only was responsible for the Mandarin score, so each one of these versions have a different soundtrack, so to speak. But Peter Thomas is the one who did the American dubbed version. So he's the one that kind of put this beautiful music together for this version of the film. And man, it works. It works. It really just adds to the intensity of what we're seeing on screen. I'm a sucker for a good score. I always love them when they do the right thing.
I like that we do get an intro for this. Like a lot of films now, they don't have like that opening credit line. It just goes right into the film. You might get a moment where we get the title on the screen, but this, gives you a proper intro before we go into it. And lastly, man, like just speaking of just the impact that it had, it made Bruce Lee a star. Like before the film was even done, they were bidding for this guy. Like this guy showed him in Thailand. Local production companies was trying to snipe him at talent, like offering him bread. And luckily he was a loyal guy to his original people he made his contract with, but they were throwing offers at him before he even finished this film to get him to go work for them. And it's funny because you point out the confusion between the two titles, but that shows you how after this man started working on this film, the impact that he had, because he's on a treadmill, conveyor belt of productions after this. Yeah. So that it makes sense how two movies can be being shipped internationally and abroad at the same time and get mixed up in the crates in the packaging. That's crazy. Do you know
he only got paid $10,000 to do this film? This film was on a $100,000 budget and made $50 million.
Man, if he got 10% of the budget of the film, that's impressive even though it was a $10,000. But think about it, like a movie nowadays is costing like $200 million to do an Avengers movie.
Yeah.
So if you're getting 10%, that's $20 million.
And then
in your pocket
this
as an
film
actor. That's impressive.
it spawned a Bruceploitation sequel, dog.
Like, I saw.
They got this dude. They named him Bruce Lee, but with one E. You know what I'm saying? And they pretty much they got
Bruce Lie, Bruce L.I.
Yeah, no, it's crazy, dog. And like they pretty much they go back to the ice factory, but now it's Chang and his brother are trying to find out some other stuff going on. The same manager's in it, and he was the co-director in the original. He's the full-on director in the sequel. It's just
shout out to trying to find this film on Tubi under the Big Boss. There's 2 bootleg sequels of this film on there. So look up Fist of Fury. If you want to watch this on Tubi, look up Fist of Fury, and you'll see the Big Boss poster pop up. Click on that one.
Yes.
Yes. But Bruce was heavily exploited at this time. Like I said,
he was.
I mean, the people that couldn't get him, they came up with so many bootlegs. And I remember watching these movies because VCR days, my cousins, wherever I was at, people were renting martial arts films, and I've seen so many Bruce Lie, Bruce L.E., Bruce B, just bullshit.
All kinds of nonsense.
They find a Chinese guy that looked like him, throw a wig on him if they had to, and we're watching the movie.
And the thing of it is like this movie was just so impactful. Before this, everybody knows, I'm not telling nobody nothing new. He played Kato in Green Hornet from 66 to 67, was in 27 episodes. She also guest appeared in 3 episodes of the original Batman series as Kato. But then this being his first major motion picture, came out in 71. He passed away in 73. Within that 2-year time span, 5 movies were made. We had this, Fist of Fury, The Way of the Dragon, Enter the Dragon, Game of Death, which Game of Death actually didn't come out in the U.S. until 78, but it was post-recorded.
It came out after Enter the Dragon.
Yeah, it was post-recorded in 72.
Crazy thing is, he stopped shooting Game of Death to go make Enter the Dragon. And that's why it was kind of incomplete, because he was supposed to come back, but he died shortly, shortly after Enter the Dragon, when he was supposed to come back and finish Game of Death.
So just think, if 5 years in a 2-year span, and this is when he's at the height of his career, he's a household name, and he is changing the climax or the climate of Kung Fu style films in the States. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wants to see Bruce Lee kick ass all over the world. And 5 years and 2 movies, just imagine if he wasn't so abruptly taken away from the world, how many movies he would have. He'd probably still be making movies now.
Yeah, he was already just working at an intense level, man. It's just an interesting career, interesting human being. To have that type of impact at such a young age and in so little kind of public notoriety, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Honestly, he was the martial arts Tupac. If you think about it, it's crazy, man. No one has, even people who have come later, no one's bigger than Bruce Lee, man. No one, even though they may have, I think, surpassed him as far as martial arts abilities and what maybe box office draw, but cultural impact, no one has surpassed Bruce Lee on the martial arts level, and I don't think you ever will, man.
No,
that's crazy.
Because for him, it wasn't just the movies. At this point, once the movies came, just think of all the spot checks. I remember seeing this YouTube video where he's playing like the number 1 ping pong player in the world, and they got a ping pong paddle, and my man had nunchucks.
That was some fake though.
That was fake.
Yeah.
Oh, well, see,
the internet was trash.
Well, you got to.
that was all.
I'm
CG.
not that computer.
That was CG, bro.
I'm not that computer in hand. Well, they got me. So
they got you, Bob. They got me at first too, because you're looking at it. But even now, like, you got fighting game characters built after this guy. Street Fighters got Fei Long. In Tekken, we got Law. Yeah. So we've got this guy's just, his legacy endures, man, to this day. I think his daughter just put out a book about her life and just being his, daughter. Like, even you look at Once Upon a Time in L.A., the controversial appearance of him in there, and multiple biographies and interpretations of his life story, man. So we ain't seen the last Bruce, man.
Absolutely not.
But I think you've seen the last of this episode, because we're going to bring this to a close, man.
Yeah, man.
And man, make sure you subscribe, you like us, you turn on notifications, and you follow us on Classes of Cinematics on Instagram as well, man. And I'm on TikTok as Monk Bloody, and I post clips of this clips of me and Bobby on there. Make sure you click below. And, check out
Leave
the merch,
some comments too, man.
You know?
Good or bad.
Yeah.
We got thick skin.
What are we doing, bro? Comments help us a lot, man. Comments help us more than anything, man. It gives us more impressions, helps more people get these videos in front of them, man. So if you're taking the time to watch this, man, leave a comment, man. Check us out. Interact with us. We'll interact with you. And that's it. You can catch me at Monkey Blood on Twitter and Instagram.
This is Bobby Blockbuster. You can catch me on the next show.
Peace. Yeah.